Good day. I'm Max Limpag. I'm a journalist and blogger based in Cebu, and I'm here to share about how we can spot and fight fake news. It may seem fake news is a recent problem, that it only happened with the rise of social media. But that's not really the case. Fake news and disinformation have been with us throughout our entire history. From the so-called donation of Constantine, depicted in this painting, Constantine supposedly gave to the Pope and his successors land, including Rome, and supremacy over the other churches, in gratitude for being cured of leprosy by Pope Sylvester I. The forgery was used by succeeding leaders of the church to encourage kings and emperors to donate. It was also used to assert papal supremacy over the other church leaders, contributing to the schism between the Roman Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church in the 11th century. It is a split that continues to the present day. In the 19th century, fake news helped start the Spanish-American War. The Americans wanted to take over Cuba from Spain and fan the rebellion there. Newspapers, wanting to make more money and knowing that a war will be good for newspaper sales, printed fake news stories about so-called atrocities by Spaniards to stoke hostilities and anger. The Americans got their war. Their newspapers got their increased circulation and revenues. Another historical hoax was a series of articles printed by The Sun about the alleged discovery of life on the moon. It was also meant to increase newspaper circulation. It was so popular that people were lining up outside their building to wait for the next edition. The Sun made a lot of money. And then there was the April Fool's joke by the BBC about so-called spaghetti trees and their harvest. People flooded the BBC with calls to ask how they could grow their own spaghetti trees. Closer to home are the fake stories about Lapu-Lapu, including that he was a Muslim and that his alho or pestle was discovered. The daughter of the person who made that claim later admitted to historian and national artist Dr. Rizal Mojares that these were just regular household implements and that the link to Lapu-Lapu was just made up. Other fabrications that have become interwoven with our history are stories of Dato Puti and the other Bornean datos and of Chief Kalanchao, all later found to be fabrications by a document forger. From this small sample, we can see that the top motivations for fake news or disinformation are 1. To further a political or personal agenda. 2. To make money from the sale of newspaper copies in the past to online ads today. 3. For fun, we have a long tradition of satire and April Fool's jokes, including April Fool's news stories. But what has changed with fake news and disinformation today is the velocity with which it could spread because of the internet and social media. This quote sums up how quickly disinformation can spread on social media. This is an interesting quote because this is often falsely attributed to Mark Twain when in fact it was by Jonathan Swift. This statement is confirmed by a study published in 2018. It showed that false information spread faster, wider, and deeper online, at least on Twitter. The study found that fake tweets are shared and retweeted more than factual updates. They found that falsehoods were 70% more likely to be retweeted than the truth. The study was comprehensive. It was based on 126,000 news stories tweeted by 3 million people from 2006 to 2017. Lies spread quickly online. They go viral, meaning they spread fast and wide. In real life, as everyone knows it by now, viruses, especially new or novel viruses, spread quickly because we do not have antibodies for them. We do not yet have vaccines for them. This information becomes viral when our mechanisms for verification, our information antibodies, aren't working or aren't being tapped. People are just sharing without checking. And why is that? The Twitter study identified novelty of information as being the reason why people tend to spread false information. Truth and reality are, in a way, commonplace and ordinary. Falsehoods and made-up stories are usually more exciting and scandalous, and people often want to share them more. It's also because of confirmation bias, or as British journalist Ian Hislop puts it, people are more likely to believe a lie if they want it to be true. Like this very effective fake news story spread during the 2016 US presidential campaign. Many people, primarily those who were already strong supporters of Donald Trump, actually believed it. In today's COVID-19 crisis, fake news and disinformation also continue to spread widely, quickly, and deeply. They range from conspiracy theories about the origins of the virus to the way it is spread and treated, as well as steps to take to avoid it. An early study on disinformation in the time of COVID, for example, showed that the dominant disinformation in the Philippines were rumors about the virus, chismis. Our situation is unlike in countries such as the United States, where there are many conspiracy theories because the pandemic has been politicized there. And this is dangerous. In an interview with NPR, Paddy Coran, campaign director at Abbas, which studies disinformation, said one piece of disinformation, the idea that concentrated alcohol in different forms can kill the coronavirus, has caused the illness of 6,000 people and death of 800. But what is fake news? When you use the term fake news, it means there is deliberate intent to spread wrong information. It's not just that the journalist or media outlet made a mistake in the reporting. There has to be actual intent to misinform. We should be precise in using the term because people often use fake news to describe either articles with errors in reporting or news stories that they don't like. The distinction is important because the way we address them is different. Errors in reporting we correct, disinformation we fight. So how do you spot fake news? It's really just a matter of spotting signals that will inform you whether something is likely to be true or false. We have to be smart about evaluating the information presented before us because here's the challenge. In print, we had visual cues that help us determine whether this publication is a broadsheet newspaper, for example, or a tabloid, whether it is a serious publication doing serious journalism or a sensational outlet out for celebrity scandals. Just by looking, we immediately knew which publication it was. Online, the visual cues blur. Most websites look the same, especially on the phone. The layout is almost the same. On social media, content looks so similar to each other it can be hard to distinguish among a serious publication, an account that shares scandalous information, or one that involves in active disinformation. So how do we judge authenticity? The first thing to do is to check who shared the content. Is it someone you know and trust? Did the person share a fake article in the past? Or is he or she someone who takes the effort to verify things before sharing? Also, check if it's not satire or a humor website and if the article was written as a joke. Some Facebook posts also have information metadata that you can check. You just need to click on the icon, usually a letter I in a circle, and it will show you information like in this post from the Inquirer. This confirms that the content is from Inquirer.net, a website registered more than 10 years ago, meaning it's not likely to be a fly-by-night operation. Check the website address. Open the actual article. Don't just read the headline that is shared on Facebook. See if the website is an actual news website and its address will help you determine that. Check if it's a .com or .org or .ph, which tells you it has its own domain and server, which are bare minimum requirements for publications. If it's a .gov, it means it's a US government website. If it's a .gov.ph, a Philippine government site. But if it has something like WordPress.com or Blogger.com in its address, then it's using a free service which should trigger suspicion, especially if it claims to be a large media organization. For accountability, check if it has a byline or authorship information so that you'd know who wrote the article. Check if it has an about page that will tell you about the website and publication. And if you need more resources, there are fact-checking websites that you can use to verify articles and reports such as Snopes, PolitiFact, and Verafiles. There are also online tools that you can use to verify information such as whois.domaintools.com, which will give you information about who owns the domain or the website address. TinEye.com is a reverse image search engine that you can use to check whether a photo has been used somewhere else and where. This is how some reporters are able to spot fake photos that come with stories. Pic2map.com, the site will read the data within the photo, especially those taken using phones, and show you where it was taken. For teaching students on how to spot fake accounts or so-called trolls, you can ask them to visit spotthetroll.org, which uses actual accounts that were used to spread disinformation in the 2016 US elections to teach people how to spot fake online personas. How do we fight back? Do not share, do not engage with fake content. If you share a post, even if just to point out that it is wrong, you are adding to its engagement. Even adding an angry emoji to express your disagreement with the fake news content is adding to its engagement. And social media platforms see that as a signal for relevance. If you increase engagement, you increase virality, and you help spread it. By all means, call out friends who share, but do this via private message if you can. If you really need to share a post to call out its errors, just take a screenshot of it and share that one instead. You can also use tools in sites like Facebook to report false news or fake content. It will then trigger a verification process that can then lead to the report being flagged as fake. We have to be ready to fight back because it will only get worse. There are now new tools that allow people to easily fake videos. The tools use AI or artificial intelligence to edit and manipulate videos. These have been used to blackmail people by editing them into compromising video clips. It has been used and will be used more extensively for political propaganda. And these are the very tools many of us have started using to edit our faces to make us look younger, older, or like the K-pop idols we so adore. Here's a sample manipulated video of Obama saying things he would never say in public and on the record.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time, even if they would never say those things. So, for instance, they could have me say things like, Killmonger was right, or Ben Carson is in the sunken place, or, how about this, simply, President Trump is a total. Now, you see, I would never say these things, at least not in a public address, but someone else would. Someone like Jordan Peele. This is a dangerous time. Moving forward, we need to be more vigilant with what we trust from the internet. It's a time when we need to rely on trusted news sources. It may sound basic, but how we move forward in the age of information is going to be the difference between whether we survive or whether we become some kind of. Thank you. Stay woke.
Scary, right? That video clip likely took some resources to edit. But here's an even more worrying part. Even apps can do it now. Here's a quick video I created using a free app. Good day, I'm Max Limpag. I'm a blogger based in Cebu, and I'm here to talk about fake news. Of course, nobody will be fooled by that. Not now anyway. But here's the thing. The tools, our phones, the apps that are available will only get more powerful and the resulting videos more sophisticated. We have to be ready. The best tool to guard against or fight fake news is our mind. Be skeptical. Think. Verify. Don't believe anything you see on social media. It is also our responsibility, individually and collectively, not to be deceived by disinformation and to fight fake news. Our society depends on that. Thank you for your time.